While my parents were conservative, I was ambitious. While my parents were calm, I was aggressive. While I was angry with everything, my parents were perfectly fine with a lot of imperfection around them.
My generation is a generation of fighters, of risk takers, of believers.
New India is not actually New India.
We are at a crossroad.
We caught in a dichotomy of old ways and new ways.
Thought it was heading towards a revolution and a lot of things would change. But again, the hopes have kind of turned into a little distant dream.
Don't turn into someone who's just asking to be fed information, rather go searching for it. I live for myself and I have my own space and my own little world.
Right now, our working force, we are an army who are wandering, who are finding our own identity.
I think like all parents, my parents also wanted to see me in a typical Indian dream of being a doctor or an engineer.
My father, very intelligent, extremely qualified, well ahead of his time, found it difficult to go through a stable career. A lot of things happened personally, professionally, which put the family in jeopardy financially. So that made me question, if an engineer who's an intelligent man finds it difficult to earn a living for himself and support his family, why would I want to pursue what he did?
People of my generation have lived for they've lived as a free, or as they've always had the independence. They've lived for their freedom. They've lived for to fulfill their dreams and to be an independent person.
Immediately after my 12th, I was hardly 17, 18. I told my parents I'm going to work.
My career ambitions have never been driven by what my parents think.
Around the time when my cousins were getting qualified as chartered accountants, engineers, taking up known conventional careers, here was somebody who refused to even graduate. So that was one of my major, I won't call it breakthrough, but a breakdown point between me and my parents. So that is when the rebel in me sort of, took over.
So I started very, very young age doing what I wanted to do. I was given the choice to follow your heart actually.
Change began then, and the transformation began then.
People are not scared to explore unknown territory anymore. Like they are not scared of what if I switch from my existing career to another career. I would like my career to be full of risks.
I was a terrible system player. Employment is a system, right? There are rules, there are do's and don'ts. I was very bad at that.
Here in our generation, we want a taste of everything.
It was more feasible to take up art, fashion, all those things as careers, but you still need your parents' support.
The first word that comes to my mind when I hear career is actually stardom. Why is it that I want to achieve stardom? Because one has to be at the top in order to make a change.
People may come here to make it big in Bollywood, own a swanky car, or have their own house, or people may just put up stall of a roadside stall at Juhu Chowpatty and send a fixed income back home to his small village. There is a bit of a struggle involved to make it big in Mumbai, but at the same time it's also a land of opportunities.
For me, my work is religion.
A career to me is a driving force.
I would give up the comfortable lifestyle. I would, the 8 hours of sleep, the, 50 days of vacation in a year. I would give up being married.
I hope that I have a fulfilling career, not just financially, but also creatively satisfying.
That was really an exciting proposition for me, to see myself as a creative and a sensitive person in the society.
I have decided as my mission in my in this life to become the foremost actor. Acting was one profession which was really, really looked down upon during my parents' time. So had someone decided to become an actor at that point of time, it would have been a complete taboo.
Plus, okay, you're an artist, that's cool, but what do you do for a living?
I was influenced by Amir Khan's character in Three Idiots. Basically, the message that he said that you should do what your heart desires to do.
That was an amazing film. Why? Because it taught us that don't it's got famous dialogue. Don't strive for success, strive for excellence. Success will follow.
When I think of my work, I don't see any challenges. I don't believe in failure.
So I think there's a lot of dissatisfaction, at least in my profession, and 90% of the people feel that. We face a lot of corruption factor at the local level when we go for jobs. So even though they say that they have a lot of jobs for doctors, but and I have faced a situation where the clerk would actually expect you to hand out your first salary if you wanted a job. Eventually it just started to get on to me. I thought there's no one else who's changing, and I am getting frustrated. So then I left it at that. Had I been taking commissions, had I been had I been taking those extra commissions, my life would have been very comfortable. I have seen the change in me. I thought I could bring the change. But now I feel that why should I make the effort?
In India, we take a lot of things for granted as an employer. I take it for granted that my employee does not have a personal life. I take it for granted that my employee, because he's my employee, has no weekends. I can call him whenever I want, wherever I want.
I think women, when they are pursuing careers, especially in India, I think it's a massive task.
A lot of women, what they do in India is, after marriage or after they have the first child, their job and their career takes a backseat.
I honestly don't see myself as a person who gives up her career just to take care of the family. But at the same time, I also don't see myself completely neglecting my family just to pursue my career dream.
For me, housewife being just dependent on the husband, I cannot do that.
My hope for my wife is that she follows her dreams, and she should not restrict herself because she's had a daughter. She's an ambitious girl.
It's just gonna take a lot of hard work to run up the ladder, to actually climb up the ladder and sit on the top and reach there.
When it comes to men versus women, I still feel there's a long way to go.
Should we allow our girls to do this? Can a woman do this? Has to really be dispensed.
We as girls, we have fought all our lives. We fought to be who we are. We fought to even work late nights.
There are also beliefs where, a woman can't be a CEO. She can't climb the rungs of the corporate ladder. There will always be this glass ceiling.
Once a woman comes back from maternity leave, and we showed this, that the boss is a little doubtful that okay, will she be able to handle work, because now she has an added responsibility, she has a kid to take care of. But hang on a minute, you don't think like that when it comes to the father of a small child. So isn't a father equally responsible for his kid?
It's a good thing though that there are a lot of them who are breaking that glass ceiling or shattering it and really climbing the corporate ladder. But that's again too few and far between.
Men can't take it. In Ahmedabad, they can't. I was told in my company, women are not an asset to a company, they are a liability.
I'm really happy that India was the first, probably among the first few countries to have women leaders in the droves, as many as there are. And I think India has beat many of its developed country counterparts in actually getting there. Whether it's men or women, we're all facing struggles. Sexism is also something that men face. You do have corporate establishments where women are in leadership positions and men are sexually harassed. But those parts of the narrative never come out because masculinity as a social process is seen as superior.
I've been fortunate enough that I've had a father who treats me like his son. Most of my education happened at the dinner table.
Do not hold girls back. Do not hold them back because they're girls. This is not a crime. There are people who believe in education but don't believe in independence. I think people are accepting the change, but it is still not easy.
People always believe that women are the ones in need. Fact is, people are the ones in need, and you need to identify that and you need to work towards that.
And the middle class, obviously they get good jobs. But what about the lower section? The quota system that had come into the graduation and the post-graduation thing. So there are a lot of protests.
You have educational institutions that reserve seats based on a particular caste or a particular race or religion. And when you do that, you are sending out a message saying that you can't do this much, so we're going to help you get there. Whereas these guys, they can do so much more, so we're not going to give them that much of an opportunity. So when we start putting people into these little watertight compartments, we're sort of sowing in them a seed of hatred. I think it's colonialism all over again. It's divide and rule, and it's not good if you want your country to be prosperous.
I want to make an impact.
So I started my own initiative about a year ago. It was called the Red Elephant Foundation. The initiative actually started as a storytelling program where I wanted more women to come out and tell their stories so that more families will know that these things cannot be ignored. A woman counts, a girl counts. And in the process, we also uncovered a lot of men whose stories were not being told. Actually started with my own personal journey. I've been subject to bullying at law school, all kinds of ethnic and racist antagonism. I went through sexual abuse as a child, and I've also had the usual high school bullying kind of thing that happened. My mom, my dad, they were very, very supportive. We've had people from the Congo and in the US, and people from India and people from Southeast Asia who've come out with stories on our website. I just like the work to make the difference, and I can be very, very happy to move on after that.
Like, I would like to believe that I was worse than average, and today I'm in the process of cultivating myself, and I want to become extraordinary.
And as much as I am a boss here or somebody who is here to make money, which is also part of the deal, I also feel I'm a visionary. I have a vision for this industry, I have a vision for this country, I have a vision for myself.